It starts with a streamer smashing his own face with a hammer on purpose in front of thousands of viewers. It sounds insane, but for Clavicular, this was just another day at the office. Most people would see that clip and assume this guy is broke, desperate, spiraling, and that assumption is exactly why this story works. Because behind the chaos, behind the controversy, behind the self-destruction, there is a carefully engineered money machine quietly printing cash. And today on Pocket Watchers, where we break down celebrity finance and internet money stories by following the money, not the hype, we're answering one question people consistently get wrong. What are the financial incentives of abusing one's body and reputation in front of millions of people? And finally answering how much money Clavicular actually makes. Before we go any further, if you enjoy exposing how online figures actually make their money, not how they pretend to, hit subscribe now, because everything you think you understand about influencer wealth is about to get flipped. Clavicular isn't just a Looksmaxxing streamer. He isn't just shock content. He isn't just another internet villain. He is a case study, a living experiment in how outrage, obsession, and controversy get converted into income in the modern attention economy. Every stunt, every unhinged rant, every boundary crossed on camera feeds into a system designed to convert disbelief into clicks, clicks into loyalty, and loyalty into recurring revenue. And the deeper we go, the more uncomfortable the truth becomes. At first glance, Clavicular looks like the opposite of a financial success story. His content is abrasive, extreme, and intentionally uncomfortable. He promotes radical appearance optimization, brutal social hierarchies, and a worldview most platforms would rather pretend doesn't exist. He criticizes faces, bodies, genetics, and status with surgical cruelty. He turns self-improvement into something closer to ideological warfare, and yet, that's precisely why it works. Here's the first thing Clavicular understood that most creators never do. The internet does not reward being liked, it rewards being remembered. Algorithms don't care if you're admired or despised, they care if people stop scrolling. And Clavicular designed his entire persona around that rule. He didn't try to be relatable, he didn't try to be safe, he tried to be impossible to ignore. That's why the bone smashing mattered. That's why the extreme regimens mattered. That's why the constant escalation mattered. Because each moment wasn't just content, it was marketing. Every clip that made people uncomfortable traveled further than any polished influencer reel ever could. Every reaction video multiplied his reach for free. Every hate comment helped boost engagement. Now let's talk about where the money actually begins. Clavicular's first major revenue engine is live streaming. On platforms like Kick and Twitch, the economics are brutally simple. Attention equals money. Donations, subscriptions, and platform incentives scale directly with how many people are watching and how emotionally invested they feel. And Clavicular's audience is anything but passive. It's obsessive. Some watch because they believe in him. Some watch because they hate him. Some watch because they can't look away. But all of them do the same thing. They increase the view count, and that view count is everything. When Clavicular goes live, the stream isn't just content, it's an event. He engineers tension, he creates confrontation, he teases escalation. Viewers don't want to miss the moment when something goes wrong. That fear of missing out keeps them glued to the screen, and glued viewers are donating viewers. During peak periods, Clavicular has pulled in tens of thousands of dollars in a single stream, not over a month, not over a year, in one sitting. There have been stretches where his monthly streaming income reached deep into 5 figures, sometimes brushing 6 figures, driven almost entirely by viewer donations and subscriptions. And unlike traditional platforms, Kick's revenue split heavily favors the creator. When money comes in, Clavicular keeps most of it. But here's where most people misunderstand the business. Streaming money is exciting, but it's unstable. It spikes during drama and collapses during silence. Viral income is volatile, and Clavicular knew early that if he wanted real wealth, he needed boring money, predictable money, recurring money. That's where his private subscription ecosystem comes in. Clavicular runs a paid community built around his philosophy, methods, and persona. It's framed as an inner circle, a gated group, a place for people who believe they're serious about transformation and willing to go further than everyone else. The pricing is intentional, high enough to signal exclusivity, low enough to feel attainable to true believers. This is where the machine really starts printing, with over 1,000 paying members at roughly $50 per month. month. This single revenue stream generates well over $60,000 every month, consistently, not dependent on virality, not dependent on daily drama, just recurring payments from people emotionally invested in the identity Clavicular sells. And here's the key psychological trick. Once someone pays monthly, they stop seeing themselves as a viewer. They see themselves as a member. That identity shift increases loyalty, increases retention, and decreases churn. Canceling doesn't feel like ending a subscription. It feels like quitting a belief system. On an annual basis, that alone pushes his income north of $800,000 a year. And here's the key detail most people miss. That number is largely profit. There's no inventory, no shipping, no real overhead. The margins are massive. This isn't influencer money. This is SaaS-style money, except the product is belief. If this breakdown is already changing how you see influencer wealth, hit the like button now. It tells the algorithm you want more of this and helps pocket watchers grow. But Clavicular didn't stop at subscriptions. He monetizes imitation. Everything he promotes feeds into revenue, supplements, optimization tools, experimental enhancements, sometimes sold directly, sometimes through affiliate arrangements. Either way, every recommendation becomes a financial transaction. When followers try to replicate his transformation, Clavicular profits from their purchases. And the genius here is that the products don't even have to work. They just have to feel necessary, because the buyer isn't paying for results. They're paying for hope. Even conservative estimates put this category comfortably into the tens of thousands per year, with upside that scales directly with audience growth. Then come sponsorships. Despite the controversy, brands still work with Clavicular. Not safe brands, not mainstream brands, but companies operating in the margins of the internet. Fitness, biohacking, male optimization, cosmetic enhancement. These brands don't want mass appeal. They want intensity. They want audiences that trust one voice above all others. And Clavicular delivers exactly that. Sponsorship deals in this space can easily reach high 5 figures per contract, especially when bundled with repeated exposure inside a private community. A handful of these deals per year adds another 6 figures to his income. And now we get to the most controversial money of all, gambling. This is critical, so stay with me. Clavicular has tapped into one of the most lucrative revenue streams in streaming: online gambling deals. Casinos don't just pay for eyeballs, they pay for psychology. They want creators who embody risk, recklessness, and adrenaline. Creators who can normalize betting large amounts on camera and keep viewers emotionally engaged for hours. Clavicular is almost a perfect fit. A gambling deal can be structured in multiple ways: flat monthly retainers, guaranteed payouts for streaming hours, revenue share on user losses, loss coverage so the streamer never actually loses money while appearing fearless. Sometimes all of the above. For a creator with Clavicular's reach, even a modest deal can mean tens of thousands of dollars per month, completely independent of donations or subscriptions. But here's where the system becomes self-reinforcing. Every controversy Clavicular creates feeds the gambling funnel. New viewers arrive for the chaos. Some stay to watch him gamble. A fraction click his referral links. Those users generate revenue for the casino, and Clavicular gets paid. Outrage becomes acquisition. Shock becomes conversion. Pause for a second. If you're still watching, comment "Pocket Watchers" below, because this is exactly why this channel exists. Now let's zoom out and put real numbers on this. Streaming income fluctuates, but realistically sits in the mid to high 6 figures annually during active periods. Subscriptions alone generate roughly $800,000 per year. Sponsorships, affiliates, and gambling deals add another one to $300,000. Conservatively, Clavicular is pulling in around $1 million per year. On the aggressive end, closer to $1.5 million. That's revenue. So what is Clavicular actually worth? He spends aggressively. Surgeries, enhancements, vehicles, lifestyle. This persona is expensive to maintain. He's reinvesting constantly into the image because the image is the product. But even after taxes and expenses, it's clear he's crossed into 7-figure territory. Between cash reserves, assets, and the underlying value of a subscription business producing over $60,000 per month, Clavicular's net worth likely sits between $1 and $2 million right now. And here's the part no one talks about. That subscription business alone, if viewed as an asset, would theoretically be worth several million dollars if it weren't so tightly tied to his persona. He's not just earning money, he's building a monetization engine powered by ideology and identity. But it's fragile. Everything depends on staying online. One major ban, one payment processor pulling out, one legal disaster, and the entire machine could shut down overnight. That's the gamble he's making, not just with casinos, but with culture itself. And that's what makes this story so fascinating. Because Clavicular didn't just Looksmaxx his face, he Looksmaxxed his entire business model. He turned outrage into assets, polarization into profit. And in doing so, he exposed something deeply uncomfortable about the internet economy. So how much money does Clavicular actually make? Enough to turn self-destruction into a 7-figure business, enough to convert controversy into capital, enough to prove that in the modern attention economy, being unforgettable is more valuable than being respectable. If you want more breakdowns like this, subscribe to Pocket Watchers, like the video if this changed how you see influencer money, and comment who we should break down next. Because once you start following the money, you can't unsee it.